till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top.
Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see you, bitch, always have a plan to stay tough. This life ahead of you ain't easy, it was built to be rough. But that's what makes a personality, is tragedy, bruh. So keep your head on your shoulders. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here moving boulders. Now we ain't getting posterized, we out here making posters, and we ain't got nothing to hide.
What up, what up, what up? Welcome back to Pregaming here at Sports Money, Monday to Friday, 6 p.m. You know the deal. Rain, sleet, or snow, we stay good to go. And we are good to go today. However, I'm going to fix that a little bit. I don't know. But maybe. It is what it is. Full graphics slides in play today, but that's okay. Plenty of action for us to tackle, and looking forward to doing just that. Hopefully you guys had a great weekend. I did. I know I did. Great time Saturday. UFC, we're towing the sled. We're getting back into things. Sadly, I lost my first strike fight. First one of the year. Didn't want to come out of the gate like that. But clobbered that main event. Darn inside the distance. Got me back. I think I netted. I was in the black. Not where I wanted to be, but man, we crushed the rest of the card. NFL, college football, college basketball, the NBA. It was just a fire. It was a lot of fun. I hope you guys are checking these Saturday shows out because nobody wins more consistently than this Saturday group. And we don't just focus on one sport. We like to diversify it. You know, money can't just be found in one spot. You got to keep a wide net. Get those big bets out there. And shout out to the VB MMA Pick Show. They had a big bomber in there as well. So UFC's underway. Just like that. How about the NFL yesterday? Your boy here personally had a great day. I'm going to tell you this. If the Bills win and the Eagles win, I'm having a good day. Now, I don't just religiously play them, but the teaser, I can't tell you the last time the Bills-Eagles teaser lost. I mentioned this to you guys before a week ago. You're going to have a chance again next week. They both play again. I believe it's Sunday. So you have a chance to go again with the Bills-Eagles teaser. You just got to do it. I mean, if you haven't done it yet, maybe not. But I think we've cashed like 12 in a row or 13 in a row. And that's been a glorious NFL card. So sadly, it wasn't all roses. I did take a lump at the end of the night there because Baker Mayfield is a lump. And, it's amazing. Last year they beat the Eagles in the playoffs and they get beat by the Commanders this year. I mean, Jaden Daniels definitely using them legs, getting things moving, but I think we've hit the turf. I think we've hit the end of the road for Baker Mayfield. Now, that doesn't mean he's done. I just envision that from a Baker Mayfield perspective here, clearly he's the beneficiary of Mike Evans being there. It's kind of one of those unique relationships where you're the wide receiver makes the quarterback better. And I think that's just the case. I think that's exactly the case. And if they have a bad game or an off game, then you're left to be exposed. And that kicker makes that big field goal at the end. It is what it is. It is what it is. Now, what do we know about the NFC North? It's soft. The Packers. Now, if you're a Packers fan, you could have stopped watching that game in the first 10 seconds. Once the Eagles scored off that turnover, off the gate, game over. Now, you could argue it was 10-0 in the first half. Sure. I got two eyes. I could see that. But it was that second half that they just couldn't get it going. They just couldn't get it ripping and rolling. And that's because Jordan Love's soft. That Packers team is soft. You look at the Broncos. Boy, what a hornet's nest I kicked with that Bo Nix conversation there. But is anybody surprised that the Bills thumped the Broncos? What were you thinking? Sometimes we overcomplicate these breakdowns. A rookie quarterback is not going into turned up franchise Buffalo Bills mode and going to go out there and fire up on them. Not going to happen. It's not going to happen, and shame on you if you thought it was. Just a miss. Cortland Sutton is a pile of excrement. Yeah. That's the guy you're counting on? He's going to have to go out there and pick up 20 catches and 300 yards with 5 touchdowns for the Broncos to be in that game. And that's never going to be the case. Now, they scored early, so you're able to catch a great live number right off the hop. That's how quick these things go. But let's take a look. Some other lessons to be learned. Early scoring leads to unders. Eagles game gets 10 points in the first quarter. It goes under, 22-10. Bills game gets 10 points in the first quarter. It goes under, 31-7. Look, those are things you have to look for live betting purposes. I know it's predominantly an undercard. The Texans thumped the Chargers. I told you guys. I told you. Justin Herbert's a loser. Steelers get thumped by the Ravens. Russell Wilson just wasn't the right call for that. And, going back to the Chargers, we were live watching that game, and, everyone was kind of remarking about, 4 or 5 interceptions that Herbert threw? It was the second one that I called out that he was tipping his passes. He was tipping his passes. And the Texans had that thing down. I wish I just used that to capitalize and make more money off it. But, hey, all in all, I had a 4-1 college or NFL weekend. Back to the times that matter for us here in a recap and a recollection of the events here. Huge Friday. Jesus, hard to believe it was so many days ago. Look, we gained 7 units, just over 7 units the first week of the year with the show. We gained over 11 units last week with the show. Free plays for you guys all here Monday to Friday to check them out. And look, we take the good with the bad, but we had a really strong Friday. Certainly something that I think we should be proud of. We got that under 6 easy casher. San Jose and Utah. Again, think of these teams that we're talking about when they're not scoring, when they're not getting the puck on net. The LA Kings was an easy winner against the Winnipeg Jets. That was the one the Sharps were all over. The respected Sharp action was coming in. We did lose the teaser. And we lost Texas. Texas got busted up. Busted my heart was what they did. 2 games, Thursday and Friday, that college football playoffs, and they both get – I'm on the wrong side by a turnover at the end of the game on both of them. Stinks. Sacramento Kings beat up the Celtics. We called it. Not the outright, but we had the plus 12. They ended up going out there winning by 17. We had the over, 224.5 in the OKC Knicks game at the Garden. We got the big casher. I know a lot of you guys cashed with me on this one. The Montreal Canadiens, La Valence, the money line and the under 6.5 cashed. Fairfield, plus 1.5. I think that was the lone college basketball game that we had. And the under 222.5 in the Pacers game cashed. And then last but not least, we lost the under 221 in the Pelicans Sixers game. Looked good in the first half. They had, I think, 100 at halftime. And, boy, the Pelicans just opened up and ripped them apart in that second half. So, not too bad a start to 2025, huh? Make sure you guys take the time and help us grow this thing here. It's the like button. You know the deal. I've talked about how important that is before. And that's the way that YouTube promotes the show. So I need your guys' help. We're up, 18 units since the first week. Really, it was a hybrid week. It was the end of December and that first week of January. We're up. All I need you guys to do for me is take a second, close the chat, thumbs up, pop the chat back open, and wait until you see the act this evening. Appreciate your guys' help. Yeah, 18 plus, huh? 18 plus units. Damn, it feels good to get off to a good start in 2025, doesn't it? Doesn't it? I hope you guys are doing the same. Look, can't be selective. Maybe you take some of these plays and you figure out your own style, but man, you got to get involved with these things. Just feels good to be on top. So let's keep it rolling, you guys. Appreciate everybody coming in here tonight to help us out. Let's get these plays, get those comments in the chat, get your pen and paper ready. You know the deal. The best damn chat in the business assembles right here, right now. We've been looking at the card all day. It's time to fire away and make the bookies pay for giving us action, for simply giving us action. And look, we've got multiple NHL games, 2 NHL games. I'm tempted to add a third play. I might. fact, I kind of want to can we catch lightning in a bottle twice? That's the question. Let me see. Let me see. Nah, maybe not. We'll talk about it anyways. Get them plays in the chat. Let's see what you guys are on. Let's get to work. Busy night, big Monday night football game, the last game of wild card weekend, and it has been a profitable one. 99.3% first comment ratio goes to our guy Joe T. Got to hang out with J.O. this weekend. He likes Darnold. Over a half an interception for Sammy Darnold. Going to talk about that game. You know it, Joe. Yeah, pass heavy teams. Why not? Furthermore, but we'll talk about it, Joe. I like to play, Joe. I like to play. Shout out to Nicholas Handy. Shout out to Oldie. Shout out to Redbeard. Oh, UCLA -3 over 138.5. Let's go, Joe. Dubs in the house. Kenny Wood. Redbeard says both teams. That's not a bad. Now look, we've seen a lot of these plays where everyone, gets on these shows and they start talking about the interceptions and such. But when you hear the breakdown on these games, not a bad look at all. This one is we're going to do some real capping. We got to roll the sleeves up and talk about this one because it's a tight game, and that's a great look, Redbeard. Gerald Jones, what's up, my dude? Says, what's up, Pimp and Crew? Been getting NFL money, college football, basketball ready. Justin McKelvey's here, says sports money is money. And Bo Jackson, our resident Raptors guy in the 6. Jays and Raptors. Bo Jackson, I'm going to have to come up north, man. I'm going to have to catch a Blue Jays game with you or something this year. Actually, Bo Jackson, I don't know if you're a fight fan or not, but we got some things coming up too. We'll have to talk, man. We'll have to talk. Salute Pip on his way to the Warriors and Raptors game. We're going to talk about the Raptors-Warriors spot tonight. We got 2 plays in that game. AOD's in the house. Barry's here. Gonzo's here. Gonzo's updating the model. I'm excited to watch the progress with my man's NHL model. Robert McCormick's here. Each and every stride. My guy Keith was rocking with us on Saturday. Had some fun, making some money. And Felix Addison over 58.5 receiving yards. Nasty Nate says, hit the fucking like button. Bojax, I'm going to be at the Bills-Ravens game on Sunday as well. Sitting 13 rows behind the Ravens bench. Woo! That's going to be fun. That's going to be fun, Bo Jackson. Because Mayfield's hands are too small. That could be the case. Shout out to Irish King. Maiden Philly says, Packers play Sunday at 4 versus Chicago for the battle of the worst team in the NFC North. Sometimes you just got to see one of those numbers tells you the story. That's all it comes down to. Nasty Nancy just received a postcard from the Patriots. They said they're having a blast golfing with the Packers. Bo Jackson took a nap once he saw how the Packers were playing. Made in Philly says, we played like shit and we still beat them Packers bums. Dude, I was saying it. They're soft, man. They're soft. They're injured. Their quarterbacks doesn't have the experience. You know what? On to the next. How about that? We're going to be playing the winner of the Rams and Minnesota game tonight. Dana Delp says Russell Wilson is a loser. Yeah, Irish King, I'm surprised they didn't have more. Justin Fields action in there. You got the guy on the bench. Bo says Josh Allen should get a touchdown this weekend, though. I agree. You know he's going to be pushing hard with the old unofficial who is the actual league MVP kind of on the line, right? They'll settle it, but that would be a good way to settle it. So the Futon Bets likes Wemby over 10.5 rebounds. So, my guy, let's go. We need this cash is right. Barry says this game comes down to who do you trust, Darnold or Stafford? Spooner's in the house. Good luck today, everyone. Hit the like button. Appreciate you, Spooner. Thank you. Let's go. All right, Mel's here. Chris Salas here. The Mel POD. Darcy Kemper, under 25.5 saves. And thank you, Rob McMahon. Says, help the pimp out. Smash the MF and like button. Bo Jackson likes the Rams money line. Rob McMahon likes Puka over 2.5 rushing yards. Chris Sala, Stafford over 0.5 rushing yard. T-Moss wants to get this money. Me too, dude. Me too. I'm fired up for tonight's card. Bill McDonald, Vikings teaser +4 and over 41.5. I think I like that a lot. Justin McKelvey says Maxie's requested a trade. Marco Carrasco's back in the house. Says, let's go Redskins. Ricky Levine, hip slap. Byfield for the Kings over half a point +110 has scored his most points against Edmonton. And Patrick, yeah, man. Allen not getting a touchdown. Busted the parlay. Yeah, not just that, but how about the Saquon Barkley? Not getting that touchdown at the end. How many parlays did he bust? I liked his attitude, though. He said, by me taking it prevented the turnover. It also prevented players from getting injured further on the play. So I thought that was a good answer. Thomas Baggio's in the house says, I got Stafford yesterday over 241.5 passing yards and Lakers ? Let's get the business. Like I said, I just don't have any no graphic today, you guys. Sorry, it's my fault. Sometimes things happen and you got to deal with them. And that was exactly how I would describe today. Sometimes things happen and you got to deal with them. And I did. So I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be ready to roll. Sharon Polian, what up? Coin says Loyola, Maryland. Money. Calgary in regulation. Chicago first period over. That Chicago first period over is what, 10 in a row or 11 in a row, something like that? And Marco Carrasco says, what wide receiver number 3 is getting the first touchdown tonight? Look at these past weekend games. It's a great call. You know, Dotson, for anybody that's not aware with the Eagles, he was a first-round pick from the Washington Commanders. How about that? So they slide to Devonta Smith, A.J. Brown, and then you add Dotson. It's a pretty darn good-looking lineup. All right, we're going to go Florida Panthers and Philadelphia Flyers. Some late-minute change in this game that I would rather not be the case. But it is what it is. And we'll navigate this thing as well. Sergei Bobrovsky, 18-9-2, 2.73 goals against average, 90% save percentage. Ersson, back from being injured. Important to know, back from being injured. 10-7-2, 2.86 goals against average, 88.8% save percentage. Stop right there. 2.73 goals against average for Bobrovsky, 2.86 goals against average for Ersson. Comparable? Can we agree on comparable? 90% versus 88.8%. Well, if you round up 88.8%, it's 89%. Can we agree on comparable in save percentage? Comparable? Now, if it was Team A versus Team B and you stopped right there, let me ask you, would you go out there and feel confident laying almost $2 to win $1.80? Just stop right there. Now, furthermore, recent performance of these goaltenders. Comparable. Ersson back from injury, rested, and what does he do? He blanks the Ducks 6-0 his last game. Saves all 22 shots. Now, that game was filled with a lot of emotion. Cutter Gauthier, the most worthless piece of shit in the NHL. Fact. That's a fact. Has come back to town, and they were trying not, Torts was trying to make the narrative not about Gauthier, but remember, he ghosted the team. He had some issues back with that heart stuff that allegedly happened. I'm not even sure if it's allegedly anymore, but allegedly. And then as they were going through their rebuild and their issues and transition, they were talking to this Cutter Gauthier kid, and he was like, I'm good, I'm on board. Well, then it came time to get on board, and he didn't return any phone calls. They had no choice but to trade this pile of worthless dog shit. And the Anaheim Ducks were the proud recipient. But the big news is they bring Drysdale in return. That's a strength on the defense, on the blue line. Big dude. So rested Ersson, coming off a shutout. Clearly, after the rest and the injury and everything else, uptick. Florida Panthers. Bobrovsky just came off of allowing 4 goals on 18 shots. That was a 4-3 overtime loss against the Bruins. Now, I mentioned the challenge. I mean, that's a down tick. To me, that's a down tick. He's obviously on the down tick. He's had a pretty good start to the career or to the season. The issue that I don't like here, the only thing I don't like about this game, and I've already played it and I'm on it and I'm sticking to it, and I'll tell you why in a second. But the Panthers decided not to go to T Scumbag. They are going full in and trying to win this game here with Sergei Bobrovsky. They want this win. Their next game, well, they've got the New Jersey Devils, I believe it was. Let me check. Yep, the New Jersey Devils on deck tomorrow. Then they go back home for a Detroit spot. So as much as they want this game with Bobrovsky, they're not scoring goals. They're on a little downtick in the goal scoring category as well. And the Flyers, who were playing on the uptick in goals early in the year, have started playing some defense with Drysdale coming back on that blue line. I think it's a Philadelphia spot. Regardless of the goalie situation and the change, this just comes back to the hot city. Believe you me, after spending almost, 10 years down there in Philadelphia, when shit gets popping and the Eagles start winning, everybody becomes a sports fan. Everybody's dialed in, literally. You go to the Wawa, they're like, did you see that game? You go to work, if you're making calls to clients or customers, like they're in great moods. Everyone's on the uptick. Everything's happy. The place is packed. It's loud. Everyone just wants to keep it. It's one big party while those guys get rolling and waiting for the next Eagles game. So that being said, at 158, with all those factors that we talked about, I don't think there's any other direction. But now what I was contemplating with lightning in a bottle is, do we take the Flyers in the under? Not imagine. Listen. I think it's possibility. I think the under is a really good play. But it's down around 5.5, and I don't know. I'd just rather get the Flyers. Just give me, I don't want to get greedy here. We're starting the week off. We're stacking units high. We're letting it fly. I'm good enough just to take the Flyers to pop this game off and open our card up this evening. Let's roll on to game number 2. We're going to talk about here is the Kings and Edmonton. Another situation. Well, there's a little in-betweener here. There is one in-betweener spot. The Flames and the Blackhawks. I don't know. I mean, you got to take the Flames and you got to take the under. Nothing official for me, but I know the 5.5 is where the line opened, and it's gone to 6.5. Some big trends on that under in that game. I just don't like it. I don't like anything about it. I'm not a big Flames backer. The Blackhawks have found a way to put some pucks in the net. Just going to stick that one right over off to the side. But the Kings and the Oilers pop off the 9:30 grudge match here. And obviously we know with LA, shout out prayers and safety and best wishes for the folks that are in Los Angeles still dealing with those wildfires. I heard one of them was it the Palisades one? Still like 0% contained? I don't know how the fuck that's even possible. It's been like a week. How could it be 0% contained? Doesn't make any sense. I feel like I could contain it with a couple of you guys in the chat in a week's time, or at least get 5% contained. I mean, I don't know. I know they're all working hard and doing their thing, but I saw this dude posted a video on Twitter. This guy was jacked up. I don't know if you guys have seen it. I might have to repost it. And the dude was jacked up. He was jacked up. I can't believe how excited he was about the tankers coming in and fueling up from the ocean and then dropping all the water. I don't know if you guys have seen that. There's like 3 planes that come in. And he's like, big balls, babe. I mean, you got to see this video. I think I'm going to repost it. I think it's just a nice little positive dose of good vibes, positive vibes out there. But nonetheless, the Oilers and the Kings will square off here. And we made some money the other day on the Kings, and I felt pretty good about that. That was certainly a sharp, respected sharp betting action. Darcy Kemper goes in goal. Darcy Kemper's had a season. 12-2-5. 12-2-5. And 2-1 loss. His last game out there. So, hey, 2.4 goals against average, 91.9% save percentage. They've got Stuart Skinner going on the Edmonton Oilers side of things, 16-9-3, a 2.77 goals against average, and 89.8% save percentage. Edmonton rested Skinner. They went to Picard. They won. It was ugly. It was 4-3. And, 5 goals on 26 shots the previous game with Skinner. So they had to rest the guy. They had to give him a little bit of bench time out there. That was a Penguins game there. It was, 2 games ago that we talked a little bit about that spot there. Pittsburgh coming back. They've got Chris Letang. That team is on the uptick, right? Try to kind of just break it down and share with you guys which teams are on upticks, which players are on upticks, which just buying and selling like a stock. On the other side of things here with Kemper, 2.4, 91.9% save percentage. It's been phenomenal. 18 of 19 shots on goal against the Jets. We know the Jets are a lower scoring team anyways, but the fact that there was only 19 shots on goal means they are playing selfish hockey. They're stepping in front of pucks. They are supporting their goaltenders, and that's an important thing if you're going to pick up W's. The end of the day for me here, the Oilers are 7-2-1 in their last 10 games. I don't want any part of the side. I mean, you look at the number, you look at the pricing behind this thing. I mean, $2 for the Oilers against the Kings. There's got to be a lot going on in the old Rolodex memory for this LA Kings with the family and the friends and the fires. But I thought the total made sense in this game here. And it's a nice little price tag. It's a nice little plus money price tag. So we're kind of maximizing our ROI from this thing. Not just because I think both these goaltenders are – this is like a playoff matchup here. This is very likely a situation in 2 teams that we can see in the playoffs. The West is stacked with just quality. There's like a bunch of mids. There's a couple highs, but there's just a bunch of teams that are like stacked in the middle of that West that are very capable of going off at any given day and making a run in the playoffs. But what we have here is a rematch situation. When you gave the puck away more than 15 times and you got less than 2 days rest, the last game you won at home, the revenge spot after giving away the puck more than 15 times in the West. 4-16 are those teams. That's the Kings. 4-16. They won the last time out, but 5-13 to the under. So breaking that down and looking at it a little bit more, you gave the puck away a shit ton the last game. Don't do it again. Shore up. We just talked about these guys stepping in front of the net, blocking pucks. Under 5.5 plus money opportunity for us. Take a shot. Let's go. Let's take a spin. Look at you guys popping off in the chat. I love to see it. Let's go. What do we got in the chat? Let me peruse. Birthday info. I saw that it's Claude Giroux. Claude Giroux's birthday today. Flyers Sixers in a WNBA stadium. Sounds like I'll retire on that project. It's going to be awesome, man. It's going to be right in downtown, right in center city, center square, like right where things are popping. It's going to be a shit show from a traffic perspective. Although maybe not, because you can jump right on 76 right there, right? The Schuylkill Expressway. Marco Carrasco, appreciate you rocking here. Mayor screwed the pooch. Sup, fellas, says Gerardo Hernandez. Kelly V says Calgary plays in St. Louis next. 2 games in St. Louis. Remember out that trend. Teams lose before going into St. Louis. Damn right they do, KV. Love to hear it. It's McDavid's birthday today, says Jay Peasy. Shout out to Jay Peasy. Looking solid, my man. Rocking that sports money hoodie over the weekend. Marco likes Kempe Point. Over the last 41 wildcard games, the spread only mattered in 8 games. Favorite wins and cover is underdogs, outright wins. Juggler 23 says since 2002, quarterbacks making their postseason debut. Yeah, this is a big one. Versus quarterback with playoff experience. 20-38-1. Sam Darnold is making his playoff debut tonight. However, Jaden Daniels just won last night. I saw that. There it is. Chris Salas is, yeah, I saw that, man. I was like 14. I know it was a low. I thought it was even lower than that. I know they're working at it. I know they're doing their best. That's just sad to see. Hard to believe that it could just be burning away like that, man. I mean, Juggler says in the last 28 divisional round playoff games, the home team has won 20 of 28. Straight up. Of the 20 home teams that won, 15 covered the spread. Got some very important news for you guys when it comes to that game. Some very important news. So let's go. Appreciate all you guys rocking. Make sure you do hit that thumbs up. Let's get this thing going, man. There's no reason we shouldn't be busting through 100 thumbs up. We're on average about 125 people watching concurrently, meaning at the whole time. The whole time. Or at the same time, I guess I should say. You know, so no reason we shouldn't get over 100 thumbs up, you guys. All I'm asking you to do is pop that thing. Gets me motivated to come in here and fire up. Making these plays, trying to make this money. All right. Let's go college basketball right quick here. I actually have 3 plays in college basketball, and I found today's card incredibly challenging. So kind of with that being said, I don't know. I still found 3. I guess. It's not that hard. I went Texas Southern. This one's not there on the side, I don't believe. This was one that I added. Texas Southern, Mississippi Valley State. This one came off of the sharp betting action report, and it's late buying that's driving this thing here. Texas Southern, Mississippi Valley State, 49% of the bets and 60% of the cash on. The line's gone from. Then we bets on the under, but and the overs won. It went from 131.5 to 137. 137. Huge movement. 2 bad schools. 4-11 Texas Southern. 2-14 B this Mississippi Valley squad. And I always laugh because it's like when you pop it open and we start seeing these teams, it's like, oh man, another one? You're going to go after this shit team again? Yeah. Yes, we are. Why not? That's how we get paid, man. These are our advantages. The books have to put lines on all the games. So when you look at a ticket count and you got 3,300 tickets, one of the lowest samples, in fact, second lowest sample on the card tonight. Not a lot of action coming in. But when you start seeing that respected buying, you can start to identify a pattern. And they blew this thing up in the total, and now they're buying it back down. And you got 2 of the last 3 games have gone under the number for Mississippi Valley. And Texas Southern's been running hot to the under. 4 straight unders. They just beat Grambling 71-66. They were laying a 4. They covered the spread as well. I wouldn't fuck around with the spreads in these games. I mean, look, Texas Southern should absolutely kick the piss out of Mississippi Valley State, but how can you comfortably lay 17 points on a 4-11 team? And they're on the road, right? But what do we know about that? Well, we know defenses tend to travel. And then as we start breaking it down and looking at these teams' kind of playing history, Mississippi Valley's bad. They lost 22 of 23 games against conference opponents. They're just not equipped to battle these teams. And what we do have is a trend. A little bit. So we've got the respected buying. We've got reverse line movement. Well, not really reverse now because it kind of hit the peak and it's coming back. We got a bad Mississippi Valley team and a big number. They don't match up in the conference. And we got big home dogs lead to unders. In fact, at 85 and 42 to the under in this Texas Southern, it's 7-3 in its last 10 in those spots out there. Pretty self-explanatory. You're supposed to get busted up. You don't compete. You don't match. And we're now getting the inflated benefit of the back end of this number. Jump in. Let's go. The water's fine. 137. Again, it opened up 131.5. It's been 50-50. And they jacked this thing up for a shit school. Yeah, we're going to go with the under. I forgot to type it in there too. Follow my action on BetStamp. My typing's a little slow today too. Truth be told, part of the reason I couldn't get there, look at this. I was eating a pistachio peanut. Split my fucking nail right in half. God, it hurts. Let me tell you. I couldn't imagine like bamboo shoots up the fingernails. Look at this thing. Look at that. Split the fucker right in half. Ah, it hurts. It still hurts. It hurts to type. It's enough about me. What do you guys think about me? Let's go. JP says Texas Southern 0-9. Yeah, I'm saying. They're not soft, dude. I split the fucking nail. Look, there's a good half the width of this thumbnail is split, missing from the top of this nail. Man, that hurts. Put some lime and salt on it, you'll be all right. I threw some hydrogen peroxide on it. I thought I was going to have a stroke. I was like, all right. Oh, shit. And then I was obviously, it was after the Eagles game, so I was obviously inebriated and hadn't eaten much throughout the day. So I looked at the bowl, and I still must have been digging in there afterward. Oh, I just banged it again. Fucking like a blood trail in the fucking bottom of the bowl I was eating out of. Oh, God. 7 p.m. American and Loyola, Maryland. We do have some consensus. Yeah, Peter Gracia, man. Fuck yeah, that shit looks, couldn't imagine. That'd make me talk. That would make me talk. I'd talk as soon as you grab my hand. No, it's not. American University pops off here at +1.5 on the road. 82% of the bets, 82% of the cash. There's been no movement. Not zero. Zilch. 136.5 has dropped to 134.5, and we've got 55% of the bets and 55% of the cash on the over. What do we like to do when we see this picture? Well, we see a shit ton of buying on American University. No movement. Let's pivot over because it is in that 1 point range, and let's look at the money line. Now we got a better picture of where the buying's coming in here. 74% of the bets have hit Loyola, 53% of the cash, but it's gone from -110 to -120. There's movement. That's why we kind of look at both pictures when it's a tight line like that, right? And at the end of the day, we got another situation. 8-9 American Eagles, 7-8 Loyola Greyhounds. Kind of found this one to be a little tricky. You know, I've watched a little bit of both of these teams just because of my degenerate nature of liking to find these mid-major schools and try to find a way to exploit some cash. And I mean, Loyola just doesn't play solid defense. Like, the problem is they don't have much ball control. They just kind of flop around out there. They got a shit ton of overs, and they're averaging like a 74 spot to the opponents. In fact, their last 4 games: Navy 74, Army 74, Lehigh 74, Holy Cross 74. They are home. They got fucked up by DePaul, which is embarrassing because DePaul's embarrassing. 84-65, but I guess that's a step up in class. We know DePaul, new coach coming in, trying to put a new culture in place. American University, well, they don't score. That's the problem that American University has. They're on back-to-back unders. They have covered 2 of their last 3, including the last game, which is why I think this number is probably priced around. It should probably be closer to a 3. But the fact that we have Loyola coming off a non-cover, had covered 3 prior, means that we kind of get a little bit of a discount on Loyola. And just short, sweet, to the point, just keep this thing moving with you guys. Look, Loyola's last 8 games are score-fest. I just mentioned 74-plus points, 74-plus points. And they're scoring points. It's not like they're slubbing. You look at what they've done from a points perspective: 75, 72, 80, 72, just on the surface, right there. American struggles to get to a 70 pack. And on average, this Loyola team's busted out over 144 points. That tells you it's probably a 74-70, just basic math. Now add into that, you know, when you look at what's going on, American University doesn't travel well. I told you. They're sloppy. They're not a defensive-oriented team, so that defense that travels doesn't travel here. They lost 8 straight road games. Loyola's at home. Loyola's playing hot. We get a little bit of that discount and can jump in on this price tag. I got -130. You can find that -120 that's out there. Simple for me. I just jumped in. I took Loyola. Keep her moving. Keep a brisk pace. I do see, and I don't like to be against our friend Skunt Blaster with the skunt bag play of the day because he likes American money line. Okay. I get you. I mean, just thought overall between these two teams, one doesn't score, one scores well. The fact that they're at home and the defense doesn't travel, to me, just kind of put me at home with Loyola. And it was catching some sharp action on that money line. That was enough for me to flip over and jump into this thing here. And let's go. Let's keep her going. What do we got next? Another shitbag school. Another shitbag program. Love it. Love it. Love it. I know I'm surprised. I picked these games. I look at it and then I laugh. I'm like, oh, here we go again. Let's get hyped about Alabama A&M. And of course, let's not neglect their opponents there in Jackson State. This was, again, a function of sharp betting analysis, big money coming in. This thing went from 10.5s down to 8.5s down to 8s. We might have a live dog. We bet on Alabama A&M already this year. 75% of the bets and 67% of the cash have pushed this thing down 2.5 points. The total's gone up from 139.5 to 143.5. 56% of the bets and 56% of the cash are on the over. If we're looking for the dog, we want to get involved in the over. And very much the case. Now, Jackson State has gone back-to-back dubs, but they're competitive games. They play, they're just competitive. 77-70, Alcorn State. I'm sorry, Alabama State. Alcorn, 72-69 on the road. And Alabama A&M's in a similar situation. They come off of back-to-back losses, why that number went to 10.5. And as soon as the Sharps saw that 10.5, they started pounding in on it. 10.5, 10.5, 10, 9.5, 9.5, 9. 8.5s have now, just at the start of this show, moved down to some 8s out there. And I believe it's for reason. Overall, you look at what's going on with these two teams, try to figure out the story and what we have out there. Alabama and Jackson State games have gone under the total 19 straight times. One side's either going to blow them out or it's going to be tightly contested. The numbers show that this should be tightly contested. Jackson State's won straight up, 13 straight at home, but this is just a situation where you're catching too many points. The Sharps saw it. They thought double digits. Jackson State can win this game. I think it's going to be a battle, and I do think that 13, when we start getting past the 10 spot, especially with mid-major schools, I start liking to look the other direction. I wish I had more to go on other than the fact that, hey, we're still developing what's going on in these conferences, and I'll take the 8.5. I know it's moved down to 8s. It's good enough for me. It's just I wanted to get in and out of this thing. I really didn't want to go. Jay Main says American 6-3 to the over as a Wade dogs. Yeah. Jay Peasy likes Loyola -1. Okay. Stop Geo says Pimp Slap POD. Mikey locked in on Buddy Hield alternate line over 2.5. That's that plus 190. Since being reinserted as a starter, he's cashed this line in 5 of his last 5. Huh. Sir Mackey, I think Nashville wins the Stanley Cup. It's early, though. We'll see. I do like that Vegas team, but okay, onward, upward. Let's keep her moving. I'm going to pop this on the screen for you guys here. A little parlay action at a plus 628. Yeah, we're going to go for the score. Remember I talked about that on Friday? I said we've been battling some of these back and forth days, but analyzing what's been popping for us here is trying to find a spot that strategically makes sense that we can catch a score. We caught a score at over 4-1 on that Montreal and the under spot out there. I love these props individually. I said this on the Saturday live stream. Like, instead of going in there and playing them each individually on the screen here, it's just easier for me to give them to you like this. But we'll go from the top. Now let's go from the bottom. How about that? Let's go from the bottom. Let's change it up. Let's go Cooper Kupp. Why Cooper Kupp? Well, he hasn't done shit his last 2 games. Actually, probably his last 3 games. But those last 3 games were non-playoff teams. And when he played playoff teams, the Bills and the Eagles, 92 yards on 5 catches and a touchdown, 60 yards on 8 receptions and a touchdown. And Cooper Kupp's number started at 47.5. It's gone to 48.5. Both these teams are top 10 passing teams. It should be an air assault. And if the Rams want to try running the ball, that would probably be a disastrous mistake because that Minnesota defense can hurt you when it comes to some of that run. Albeit though, and we'll talk about this when we get to the game itself, Ja'Marr Gibbs busted up that Vikings defense out there. The run defense was exposed and then some. But big plays, Cooper Kupp's been silent. We see when they play big teams and they need him in an air assault type of game. He should be the feature wide receiver, and his line has moved from 47.5 to 48.5. That's player 1. Player 2. Player 2 in the matchup. We'll go to Scotty. Scotty's our guy. Scotty too hotty playing with this Raptors squad, the Raptors and Warriors. And look, 10 rebounds, 12 rebounds. You know, Scotty's been our guy. We're dialed in on a couple of these dudes, and Scotty's one of them. The Golden State Warriors allow the 6th most rebounds per game at 53.6. Barnes has played 36 or more minutes in 5 of his last 6. So we want minutes. We want teams that give up a lot of rebounds. And the guy in Scotty Barnes to do it, his number overall, by the way, is plus 120. So you can catch Scotty Barnes individually at over 8.5 rebounds. I opted to stuff him into this parlay because I thought it made some great numbers out there. When you look at the cup component to it, and we'll talk about Wemby in just a second here, but yeah, look, not only are they averaging 53.6 rebounds a game in Golden State, the 6th most in the league, they are on the uptick. 55 rebounds allowed in their last 3 games each. And at the end of the day, I just think this is a spot here where you look at his double-double number. You know, we try to look at that last component, that last leg. His double-double is plus 110. Well, that means he's got to get 10 rebounds. Or I guess it's better than that now. Let me see what his double-double numbers. Let me see. I know we did have a little buy back on the double-double earlier today. Let me take a peek. Let me see if I can find this real quick. Hopefully I can. Hopefully I can. There it is. There it is. There it is. Yeah. Scotty Barnes double-double is plus 115. So let's think about this. He's got to get 2 of something in the double-digit marks. Is it going to be assists? Probably not. He's averaging, you know, somewhere in that 3.5 to 4 spots a game. We just talked about his rebounds and his minutes being up, and it's points. But you can get 8.5 rebounds at plus 120. Now, either that's a suspect line, a fishy number, or people just aren't doing the math and are just automatically clicking this dude catching that double-double. I'm going to take the over 8.5 rebounds. Again, straight play is plus 120. Great price on that right now. And then last but not least is Wemby. And, whoops. Bear with me 1 second here. Uno. Okay. Do that. Let me do this. Please hold. Okay. All right. Last but not least, where were we? Sorry about that. Last but not least, Wemby. Of course. Why not look at Wemby? 10.5 rebounds out there. There's another situation. He's getting the minutes. He's getting 33 or more minutes, 8 of his last 9 games, 30 or more minutes in 9 of his last 10 games. He's a tall son of a bitch. We know that. He's averaging 10.8 rebounds a game. He's got 14 or more in 3 of his last 4. And here's an average spot. Now, they're middle of the pack, the Lakers, but they allow 52 rebounds a game. Should be an opportunity for him to go get it done. Wemby's double-double. This is another one. Double-double line. Minus 165. Basically, you know, in a situation where he should be able to get, arrested. What else are you looking for? There's everything in the line with this thing going into LA, wanting to show up. Now, obviously, there's a lot of things on the mind for the Lakers, much like there are for the Kings, much like there are for the Clippers, and all those affected by the wildfires in Los Angeles. But Wemby doesn't have shit on his mind, and he's rested. He should want to go out there and show LeBron how to go out and rebound. And I think that's the case to put this thing to bed. And it's a huge number for us, plus 628. So we'll pop that right in the mouth. Whoops. Pop the bookie in the mouth with this one. Let's see what you guys have to say. Did you see the Shaq video? There's a Shaq post out there. And it's like Shaq's like looking down at a guy, and he's got the angry scowl on his face. And it's a kid. I forgot where he goes to school. He's like 7'9". Fucking unbelievable. It made me stop and think, because Shaq's got to look up at him. That's how tall he is. And it made me think, like, if you're 7'9", you are a professional NBA basketball player. All you got to do is make sure you train the right way. Who's not going to take you? Even as a flyer. Is it Florida Gators? Is that the dude? Florida. All right, Ramon's here. What up, Ramon Scott? Son of a bitch, man. That kid's guaranteed to go to the NBA. Unless, I mean, man. Imagine if he was like he couldn't be a hockey player. They don't make hockey sticks that long. There we go. Look at you guys. On cue. All right. Son of a bitch, man. Oh, by the way, with the rebounds for Scotty Barnes, Draymond Green's out. All right, I saw the note that Draymond Green is out of this game. Toronto is going to be out there trying to bust up a little Golden State action. And these are the spots where I think Toronto ends up winning outright. Overall, with this team here, this line went from 5.5. It was up to 6.5. It's come back to 5.5. So now seeing some 5s, even though we know the situation really is probably driven around Draymond Green. 76% of the bets, 75% of the cash are on the Warriors. The total's gone up 3.5 points as well. That's a situation there where we've got 71% of the bets and 78% of the cash. And there is a little trend. NBA big dogs are 151 and 371, but the money line play is where the profit is. And if now you're 2-1 or almost 3-1 in the losing, 2.5 to 1 in the losing category, but to be able to show an ROI means some teams just shouldn't be big dogs like that. And the travel situation for this Raptors team, look, it's not pretty. They're 8-31. They fucking stink. But there is the travel factor. There is the customs factor that goes into things for Golden State. Golden State will be on its third straight road game. Now, they've been kind of in this Great Lakes hub where they had Detroit. They won 107-104, barely covered. They got busted up by Indiana. Now, the challenge is, do they lose twice in a row? Outright. They were given 11 points. They were getting 11 points, I'm sorry. But that was because there was no Draymond. There was no Steph. There was no Wiggins. Everybody was out. Now, overall, Podziemski, Kuminga, Peyton, and Green are out. Everybody else is playing. And on the Raptors side, yeah, it's quickly. We know RJ Barrett kind of let me down in that Madison Square Garden game, but 22.7 points a game. He's going to have to go out there and put it on because he's got Curry. Surprisingly, Curry, 22.6 points a game. On the surface, yeah, you would think, first glance, shout out to our guy, Razor Sharp Picks, you would think, yeah, they're going to get busted up. And they're 1-4 in their last 5. It's their first game back. They've had 2 days or a day of rest in between. They had the Knicks. They had Cleveland. They had Detroit. It's going to be a battle. I think the no Draymond factor is going to be the physical attributes that Draymond brings to the court in a shit Raptors team right now. But yet you see this number is only 5.5. Really? They can't cover. They can't win. They can't do squat. I'm just looking at these double-double. I'm just laughing about the rebound. There's like a lot of ways I'd want to play this game. I do like these guys as a live spot. Look. The Golden State Warriors play tough. They get in lanes. They shut teams down. They disrupt. They're disruptors. 6th best in the league in limiting opponents' assists. That's why I was saying that Scotty Barnes number under. He ain't getting the assist category out there. But I think they can do enough to stay in this game. 19-19 are the Warriors. Big start, and then things kind of collapsed as they started getting some tread worn off the tires. I think it's a good spot to take advantage. This number should be 10, and it's not, which means I think the Raptors are a live dog. Coupled with the no Draymond factor is good enough for me. Keep her short, keep her sweet, keep her moving, keep her rolling we'll go to this game. Just going to throw these out there at you guys fast like a bunny so we can keep this thing moving. The Grizzlies and the Rockets opened up at 2.5. It's gone to 3.5. We have 69% of the bets and 70% of the cash on the Rockets. It's moved a point. We have 234.5 has gone down to 233. It's down to 232.5 with 81% of the bets and 77% of the cash on the Grizzlies. I really like the under in this game. I've been firing on, a lot of it has to do with some of these injury factors that are out there and the limitations in the offense. But Jabari Smith predominantly the only guy that's out. Now, Jaren Jackson, probable. Desmond Bane, probable. Big factors for this Grizzlies team. Ja Morant's illness, questionable. So I see that illness floating around the locker room. I always get excited because sometimes they just haven't revealed the symptoms yet, but they got that sickness underlying and it's spreading around the room. The Rockets have been firing. No pun intended. 4-1 in their last 5 games. They did just beat Memphis. That always makes me a little nervous. It was at Memphis, but it was 4 days ago. So it's not like they just played yesterday and they're trying to exact revenge. Now, I'm sure they are trying to exact revenge, but the Grizzlies had to travel to Minnesota. They did pick up their revenge, or their bounce back, I guess, right? So they beat that. They lost to Sacramento. They lost to Golden State. Those were road games. They go back home. They beat Dallas. They lose to Houston. They go up to Minnesota. I think it's a trappy travel spot. Try saying that 3 times fast. And furthermore, I think what happens in this spot is you've got kind of the styles make the fight situation. And in this case, you got a team that likes to run and gun in the Grizzlies. 123 points a game on average, fast-paced, versus a team that likes to slow it down. And you know my style with that mismatch. I like the defense in those spots. 107.1 points a game allowed. On the Houston side of things, you got Memphis with the highest scoring offense. You got Houston with the second lowest scoring defense. Now, Memphis just lost with that high-powered offense at home because defense travels. Now they're going to go into the Houston barn. And what's going to happen down there at the, is it the Toyota Center? Anyways, you know the deal. I've talked about it how many times? Team goes down. They're fast-paced. They miss. All of a sudden, Houston picks it up. Drains the clock. They're on a 3-game winning streak. They've won 7 of their last 10. They're feeling comfortable. Then they go out there. They make 2. You come flying back down the other way. You miss again. And they're 13-6 at home. They're 8-1 against the division. They drain the clock. They've got confidence. And they score another point. Now you're down by 4 points, and you don't even know what the hell happened. You barely touched the ball. I think defense wins in those situations 9 times out of 10. The lines moved from 2.5 to 3.5. I'm not entirely that excited about it, but you know the big thing for me is how do you match up against these divisions? We've talked about it time and again. And you're built to play within your conference, within your divisions, and then those matchups kind of correlate or transition, right? You're playing the same teams a lot. You got to be able to beat up and defend those teams. And the Rockets have covered, not just one, but covered in 7 straight Southwest Division games. I don't care if it's revenge. I don't care if it's a rematch. Minnesota got their win. They can take that exhale. Things aren't as tight. And they're going to go into the house that defense built, and they're going to get busted up. I think it's a good Houston minus 3.5 opportunity. I like the first half. Not against the first half. Go get her. Take that first half and run with it. Oh, I know what I realized what I did here. It hurts to type. All right, last but not least. Oh, no, we got it. There we got it. We got it. I was looking at it twice. All right. The big game. The big battle. Well, here's the deal. You guys already saw our guy talk about this earlier. Juggler. The rookie or the quarterback with no playoff experience against the playoff experience. Here's what a lot of people are going to tell you. The line didn't move. The line hasn't moved. Why hasn't the line moved? You know the deal. You know we talk about the very first number that hits the street. If you're looking at this thing today for the first time and you're seeing it open at 2.5 and it's at 2.5 and it's not moving, oh my God. It did. It was 1.5. The change of venue slapped another point on there. And now everyone's rushing to the window to take the Rams. 51% of the bets and 52% of the cash on the Rams. This is tricky. 47.5 on the total has not moved, though. And you have 75% of the bets and 76% of the cash on the over. No movement. Tight game, we see 10 cents of movement in favor of the Vikings. So you got a plus 110, it goes to plus 125 if you're going to take the Rams. And I get it. On the surface, it looks like a Rams game. I think they were playing coy a little bit against the Lions. Now, you know my situation. I love to fade teams the week after the Lions. You know, that's been a big thing for us all season long. We've been making money off of this. They lose home field advantage. That's big. They were a dog even at home, the Rams. Then they got to pack up their families. They got to pack up their kids. They got to pack up their pets. They got to pack up all their belongings. They all get to go hang out down in Arizona where it's, tranquil compared to what's happening back in their home states. Lots on the mind of them boys. And they lost 30-25 their last game out against Seattle. They were a dog in that spot. They didn't cover a ton of spreads. They're 4-1 on their last 5 against the spread. You know who else has been covering a lot of spreads are the Vikings. And they got thumped 31-9 against Detroit. I think what happened in that, well, 2 things. One, Darnold shit the bed. There's no question about it. So Darnold's been sitting around since January 5th trying to figure out if he can get his shit together and get back on the stick. That was at Detroit. But I also feel like they got out of that thing a little bit early. And then they didn't want to show any more cards in the second half. And they just let the Lions run away with it, kind of accepting their fate. Now we'll see. Time will tell. We talked earlier in the player prop situation about the lack of effectiveness from Cooper Kupp, but lack of effectiveness had a big deal with the fact that they were playing shitbag teams. So do you show everything or are you playing a little bit of chess? And I think that's the answer for this one. They were playing a little bit of chess. Now, team-wise, the way these teams match up, Minnesota likes to blitz. They blitz, I think it was the 5th highest. I don't know why I'm laughing. I just doesn't strike me as a blitzing squad. I don't know. Here's what I do know. The Rams run the 6th most zone coverage in the NFL. I know that's a little bit of a struggle for Sammy Darnold as well. So the defense probably favors the Rams style more so than the Minnesota style because they blitz and, what's his name there? Goff. Why am I blanking? Goff likes to see the blitz. Not Goff. Why am I blanking? Doesn't matter. When you haven't played each other in over 65 days and it's the first round of the playoffs on the road, those teams are 32-26 straight up. They're also 15-44 to the under. So think about, we talked about the lack of reverse line movement to the total. All that cash coming in on the over. Then we talk about the Rams. Now, I know they're not home, but they are the home team in this case. But when they're between the threes and they've got more than 5 days rest, they're 0-10 against the spread in those spots. That number for me prevailed. When it's a low number, they don't have enough juice to go out there and push the sled past the finish line. Minnesota is 14-0 when the line's less than a +10. And they had less than 13 days rest after shitting the bed in the red zone multiple times. What does that mean? Well, they go out there and they figure shit out. They got to the red zone so they can show that they can march the ball down the field. They just need to make a couple of adjustments. And as long as they're not a huge dog, they go back out there and they rip shit up. 14-0. I think what happens here, if you're looking at Stafford, yeah, he went out there and he blew the top off of things. And that's exciting with this game I'm particularly excited about because I do think John Morant is going to play. Illness. Fucker. It's all right. We'll probably get a better number now on Houston. Probably 1 point better now. But I think overall, where Minnesota's defense has tightened up is stopping through the air. They're playing a better ground game. Now, they did get, again, that ground game against the Detroit Lions was not pretty. Gibbs just busted them up, but I do think there's that element of they just accepted their fate. I think it's going to be back and forth. It's going to be a mistake. I think both those quarterbacks, because they're top 10 passing teams, Stafford can certainly go out there. What do you get, 4 touchdowns? But the thing is, after getting busted up about that, after that last game that they played, Minnesota's defense has stepped up. They only, I say only, but 20 passing touchdowns. If you're going to go out there and run with Kyron Williams, that's a mistake. The Vikings have the second best run defense in the NFL. So now's where I start to see the picture of the mismatch. You're going to run into a brick wall that's going to force your guy to throw the ball. You're forcing your guy to throw the ball. Minnesota's defense is ratcheted down secondary-wise. That's going to create turnovers. That's why I like those both teams that throw turnover spots. We're going to see, I think the number's pretty pegged sharp when it comes to the side, or with the total rather, at 47.5. I'm looking forward to this one. I think it's going to be a fun rematch spot. I told you I like Cooper Kupp. I like Cooper Kupp to score a touchdown anyways. It's going to be chunks of yards through the air, but I think when they get to that red zone, that's what happens when you can't run and you pass the ball a lot. That field shrinks. And now those guys don't have 20 yards to run out patterns. They got to run tight little slants across the middle, and they got dudes breathing down their fucking necks. And we've seen that every single playoff game thus far. The favorites have dominated as well, with the exception of the Commanders. I think it continues. I'm not going to overcomplicate it. I like the spot here with Minnesota. For me, it's just a single unit play that I'm going to be involved with here. My heart got fucking ripped out with that Tampa game and those two spots as well. So I'm not going to mess around with them, but I'm going to take Minnesota. Like I said, you guys got some player props that I'm involved with. Steve Bailey likes Darnold interception. Sir Mackey says the home is where Stafford goes. Sir Mackey says Stafford retirement game. Stafford is old news. Grenard sat for our guy Nasty Nate. Oh, I like that. Thank you, Stop Geo Engineering. Appreciate all you guys rocking with us. We'll see if Darnold is a cuck or not, Marty Riggs. I think they're both cucks. How about that? Oh, man, our guy Ramon Scott is running so hot, and he's dropping college basketball action out there for us. Maryland, Eastern Shore, South Carolina State, under 145. Let's put the bow on the show. How about that, you guys? I appreciate everybody that spent the time in here with me today. We are running hot, man. We are over 18 units since the December 30th through, that's where the week started, even though it's a January 1st, Hey, look, we're running so hot. Let's keep it going. Let's have some fun tonight. Don't put all your money in any one particular spot. Spread it across the board, as you see we've done here. Let's get this player prop. That would really gas things up to change the outlook for this week early. And I wish you guys all the best of luck. Unless you're against me. In the meantime, on behalf of the Sports Money crew, we'll see you guys back here doing what we do tomorrow. Check out my man, Ramon Scott. He's running so hot at 9 a.m. with the morning steam. You got the VB MMA picks, Ramon Scott UFC breakdown. They're going to give you 3 of their best bets early. That's going to be tomorrow at 4:30. That will lead into pre-gaming, and away we go, you guys. Excited to see what this week can do for us here. It always feels good to be up. Can't wait for the next show. Let's get this good vibe going in the right direction. On the way out the door, smash that thumbs up. And I appreciate each and every